The best way to improve in something is to put all of your focus onto that one thing and setting everything else aside. After losing horribly in H1, this is exactly what I did. Here is the improvements I already noticed on my first attempt, and what you can probably expect putting focus on the Wildlands each day as well. We're starting out with most of the tier 1 upgrades unlocked in the Celestial Hourglass. Highly recommend the Village Edicts. It's expensive, but comes with some really huge upgrades. Protection gates, on the other hand, sounds awesome, but seems utterly broken for me. I just never got it to work. We're going in with Talos today. We've played him during the demo already, so you might already be familiar with him. In that video, we never really entered the Wildlands, like at all, or the jungle if you prefer. We're taking Fire and Shadow Essence for the Shadow Strike and Blazing Light, together with our base abilities Dagger Deluge as well as Rush Attack, with us into the game.
Emergency situation over here.
Before we start, there's a printer emergency.
To war. To war with the printer. Feels like it, I guess.
The war is over, and another begins. We will start with adding the gold to the gold mine, not because we know it's the best, but it's what I usually default to, and today all we're focusing on is the jungle itself. We'll also forget about the wisdom tree. I'll blame the printer emergency for throwing me off my game already. No extra experience for us, I guess. On a good note, we're getting some really strong opening shards. 5 Rage Amplifier this early on is pretty darn good. The next shard is non-interactable. Remember last video? Want to venture a guess what's happening here? Leave your answers down in the comment section below, but do it quickly. The answer will soon be revealed. While we wait, let's unlock our daily quest. We should be able to get a couple of levels before nightfall. As our edict, we'll go with the 3 traps in lane, I guess. Oh, this spider is not dead. That's why I can't interact with it. If you answered the spiders are out on a field trip earlier, congratulations, you're correct. With the early 5 Rage Amplifier, we can go and bring down the camps containing 4 small spiders. This was not an option with the Archer, Xerath, in the last video. From here we are going exploring. We have a new map we need to learn after all. First up we find the Artifactor, but don't really have the coins to buy anything. Next up, an Altar of Power. That's already set up for a Rage Amplifier. That's good. We also pick up our first mission for Grot to eventually join us. You could leave these quests and wait for daily quests before unlocking them. That would mathematically probably be the better option if you're only looking to maximize rewards. I then walk past the portal, but for some reason do not actually interact with it. This is not me showing a perfect game. I'm merely showing you my first steps in focusing on the jungle itself. Right next to the portal we find our first potion. We opt to use our only reroll this turn and select the auto attack damage instead. Being able to set up for camps with the shadow ability is really nice, but we are able to survive a small brawl as well at this point. Time for our first Bastion upgrade, Chronomancer's Council. Strictly because of the map synergy with the Chronostratum and the easy money generation with the 4 mage towers built a little bit later on. The prolonged time of day doesn't hurt either, considering we're learning to spend all of our time in the jungle here. Before the first horde of enemies arrive, we'll go back to pick up the wisdom tree we missed in the beginning of the game. On our way to defend, we can build 3 out of the 4 mage towers we will build this game. We all know how the hordes work by now, a few dagger deluge, and we're able to continue our jungle exploration.
Tower has been restored.
This time on the left-hand side. This is where we will meet our first gluttons. Usually a bit more tanky compared to the spiders. They also spawn with armor occasionally. On the way in we pick up a healing potion as our second potion. We're mostly here for the free stuff and single enemy camps without armor. We can simply walk up, hidden by the shadow ability, hit a few auto attacks before we finish off the enemy with a rush attack. We should have a new day coming around here very soon, and then we need to go back and take care of anything that's on the right hand side. I'm trying to remind myself already to plan for the return to the right hand side. My main focus is on hitting every single point of interest each day. 2 basic gluttons is apparently also doable. Talos Burst is incredible. This only applies to our burst though. Without cooldowns, we are not dealing very much damage and our survivability is extremely low at this point. We're not interested in fighting the armored enemy just yet, but I will not say no to these chanting gems around here. The pillars you see here is a quest that we have not yet picked up. I'm sure you've noticed a flaw already of mine. We have missed a lot of things on the right hand side of the map. It would have been a better use of my time going back and covering the whole map, actually exploring it. Instead, I'm sure you've noticed these sacred shrines. Initially I was really chasing them around, and for the purpose of focusing on the jungle, I guess that's good. But in general, they're not really worth going out of your way for unless you have and rely on a lot of faith armor. With the next day already here, we get another daily quest. We'll go with the Altars of Power this time. I need the money more than the Arcane Amplifier. Also, give me the money! More Altars of Power with Rage already set. Much appreciated. We also find the Chronostratum. This is why we selected the Chronomancer's Council in the Bastion earlier, but the reward isn't actually that big. Maybe more importantly, we receive a decent cooldown reduction with both buildings built. Rush Attack and Shadow Dash will be our bread and butter for the Rage build. Cooldown is our only limiting factor here. Extending the day itself is maybe more of a personality-driven benefit. What does that even do for me? It just gives me more time? Because I'm bad at keeping time? Yeah, that seems good. Overall, I found the map buildings to be a lot more valuable than the Bastion buildings themselves, since they don't really scale at all with the rest of the Bastion buildings. Oh boy, we found a treasure map. I have no clue how this works. I never actually find a solution on this within this game either. I'm fairly certain I understand how it's supposed to work, but actually finding this location seems really hard. Nothing on the map looks quite like the map displayed to me. Let's go back to what we know instead, the jungle. But first, let's add the 4th mage tower. Now we can finish the daily quests to pick up the Altars of Power, and with that we are mostly done with the left hand side. We do have 13 Rage Amplifier now, however, and I'm feeling pretty cocky. Let's try to take down one of these armored enemies. Blazing Light and Auto Attack removes the armor, and a combination of Shadow Dash, Rush Attack and Dagger Deluge is just enough to finish him off. Possible, but we're forced to use all of our cooldowns. With the armored enemy in the dirt behind us, we run into this. The Elemental Plains. Sounds fun. Actually, Plane of Inferno both looks terrifying and sounds terrifying. I have no business fighting these big spiders in the wild, but sunk cost fallacy means we are now fighting it. We entered after all. Oh no, oh no. Okay, careful with the spiders. Got it, got it.
The Unraveler are attacking.
Some people grieve by going shopping. Tamer's Paddock, Knight's Barracks. Feeling a bit better now. I'm not really that into the Tamer's Paddock in hindsight. The dogs are supposed to prioritize archers and catapults, but I mostly see them attacking melee units up front for some reason. Let's get the wisdom tree and do a loop on the right hand side again. We don't have the money yet for the artifact. Let's use the time to clear out this spider camp instead. I really did leave a lot behind here. A lot of this comes down to me not really using the map enough just yet. One good sign is that I actually checked if we could afford the artifact this time before we actually went there. 300 coins for the Fate Armor restoration during Nightfall doesn't do that much for us, but upgrades and build paths is not really the focus of today. We've become a lot stronger since last time, so we can actually defeat these mid-tier camps now as well. The enemy horde is already here, but we'll focus on the jungle. Get the Altar of Power first. We'll get back to beating up the spiders in a little bit. Focus on the jungle, that's correct, but we will die if we don't defend here. We receive a lot of experience from these larger waves. A chance for Blazing Light to stun and Purging Evil. Enemies killed by the sign reduces cooldown by 0.1 second. Once the horde is defeated, we can take a look at the map. Most of the timed items have actually been dealt with. No unlocked altars, sacred shrines, wisdom trees, all collected. We're doing pretty well on that part. Time to focus on actually killing camps. If all our abilities are of cooldown, we can defeat most of the enemy camps by now. Combined, we are able to output 2 or maybe 3,000 damage in one go, easily killing the lower tier enemies with a single cooldown. The mid-tier armored gluttons, the ones that protect the green shards, still takes most of my cooldowns and require me to line up my abilities perfectly to be able to succeed. I'm pretty bad at paying attention to the yellow map markers for some reason. I'm missing very obvious camps we could have hit a lot earlier. So instead of going here, 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 or here, I decide to head back home. We pick up the wisdom tree again. After missing it once, we're not forgetting it again. We have 300 coins in the bank as well, so Artifactor next, I guess. I'm not confident enough fighting these large groups of spiders yet, but a single lonely spider at this point looks far more interesting. We're just barely able to end his misery before we run out of the green juice in the middle of the screen. Day 3, and we're only now exploring the complete extent of our side of the map. We found our third quest giver and the first pillar, plus our second creature lair. We do a lot of damage with 26 range amplifier now, but not enough for the spider lair just yet. With that said, we could be further ahead if we had explored the full map already in the beginning of the game. Things like this super simple artifact camp can add significant power. Not to mention the 2 missing chanting gems, finishing that quest and releasing Grot. I still have some tasks on the left hand side. We'll go add 2 catapult towers on the way over there. Picking up the Altar of Power, gold mine, second pillar and another altar. The enemy have already broken through our front gate at this point. It's time to go back and defend. Not gonna lie. Quickest horde kill ever, okay? Shadow Dash alone kills the majority of enemies. Then we just turn on Blazing Light and stand in the middle spamming auto attacks. As a reward we get another 192 bleed damage on our Shadow Dash. Shadow Dash can also deal damage in both directions, meaning 1200 plus 192 damage, and then you multiply that by 2. That's close to 3000 damage with 1 skill. That is enough damage to bring down the armored smaller gluttons. Even 2 of them goes down easily. The third tier of gluttons is a bit different. We activate Blazing Light for the armor as usual. Shadow Dash, Rush Attack, Dagger Deluge and a Quick Potion to save the day. Unfortunately, this leaves us with too little health left to pick up the next Altar of Power. Luckily, there is a life fountain just around the corner, and on the way back we can beat up a few more camps. I feel like I'm spending so much time in the jungle. When are you supposed to have time to actually go kill the boss? This is the whole focus of the video, Keanomy. Stay on track. Jungle is everything today. Left side of the jungle is mostly complete now. Time to return to the Bastion and go through the right hand side's camps and points of interest. We start by running into the second treasure map. This doesn't look anything like the map we had. Where's the square if it is here? And the second map has even less descriptive landmarks. Maybe the circles could be recognized. I don't know, let's continue. Artifactor has an upgrade to our invisibility, now allowing us to remain invisible after entering combat. We already have this on our passive from the Shadow Essence. Honestly, I'm not sure if this stacks. From here we pick up another Altar of Power, a Portal, Wisdom Tree and a second Altar of Power. We're missing the health to fight the larger spider camps, but we can explore the upper area of the map properly, unlocking the final gold mine and returning to defend the incoming horde. Enemies now take a lot longer to kill, but our health isn't moving, so that's a good thing. The fourth horde goes down without much of a hassle. Time for some Bastion upgrades. In a future video, I will look through all of these upgrades and come up with a build order that makes sense. For now, just build a tavern. Mercenaries only now is late, but adds significant power still. We're picking up the third and final pillar on the kingdom side. The fourth pillar will be on the Apothec side of the map, behind the first boss. You will only be able to activate these pillars once you have activated the quest itself. After that, the order is pretty simple, starting with the location with one pillar and then working your way up to the final location that will have 4 pillars. Now that that's complete, it's time for a final round of hitting points of interest. We start with some Altar of Power and then go finish up what we started in the elemental plane. Plane of Inferno sure pays off this time. Combination of Phoenix Flame and Firebrand. Firebrand providing burn on auto attacks, and Phoenix Flame providing a Fire Nova when applying a burn to an already burning target. Okay, I think we're overpowered now. With our passive maxed, we have crazy high attack speed.
Burn, baby, burn!
And so, day 5 is here. We have mercenaries available and really nice damage numbers. 2160 damage, nice. Fighting the boss in the middle of a horde might have been a bad idea. But once the horde is dealt with, we can return to the boss, who is already at half health. Massive attack speed, proccing crazy amounts of burn, and finish him off with Shadow Dash dealing thousands of damage. And as reward we get some crit chance and some cooldown reduction. Not bad. I do believe a realistic target in the future would be to finish the jungle and push for the first boss already by day 3 probably. Layers and dungeons can be dealt with to push further into the Aphotic lands when the boss is dead. In the meantime, we could spend the time collecting more power in the Aphotic lands, preparing for the final boss battle. This time, however, we'll start by going back to finish off the Spider's Lair, which is maybe the fastest kill I've done so far. Holy hell, we have a lot of burst damage. Adding another 14 amplifiers will only increase said damage. And Dreadwing coming up next will most certainly enjoy an extra 50% auto attack damage. This is ridiculous. That's gonna just melt poor Dreadwing over here. Before we go to Dreadwing, however, let's make a final visit at the elemental plane as well. Rewards isn't much to mention, unfortunately. The XP gives us a decent evolution though. Sun power increasing our attack speed during the day. Not that we needed more attack speed. Unfortunately, it's night now, and we have a horde to defend against. Once the horde is defeated, there is only one thing left. Time to push up to the boss. On the way, we can activate 4 pillars for our quest, limiting the enemy scaling for 1 a night. Needless to say, not very valuable at this point. Another reason you should try to finish the first boss as early as possible. Limiting scaling at day 3 or 4 is far more impactful compared to where we are currently. The boss at this point isn't much of a trouble. Funny how it's always me and Grot by the end. A trustworthy companion indeed. And that's that. 2500 echoes isn't that bad after all. Few things I learned and will try to take with me into H2. I need to be a lot earlier to explore the whole map, all the way up to the first boss, even when I can't actually kill all of the enemies. Focus on methodically using the map to hit all of the shards and chests in the Wildlands, especially the ones that are not very well protected in the early game. For H2 and the next video, our focus will be to try to add a little bit more lane presence. Extra experience gain and pushing further in the lane faster should be doable with our newfound jungle experience. My release schedule is all over the place at this point. If you're interested in the next video coming up, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. If you enjoyed this video on the other hand, a like doesn't cost you a dime and it makes me a really happy duck. Have a great day and until next time, bye bye.